up your engine!
Dylan Young says, Scotty, are Cadillacs reliable? Yes, they're very reliable. It's very reliable that they will break down before their time and cost you a fortune to fix. And it's very reliable that their resale values will be extremely low. Now, back in the 60s, when I was a young mechanic, Cadillacs were the bee's knees. Everybody said, it's like a Cadillac. It's the Cadillac of shoes. It's the Yeah. Well, not anymore. Now, if you say that, it's sort of like, that's the low end. It's a Cadillac. Oh, man. Those must be horrible shoes. It's a GM product. You know, GM makes them all in the same factories. It isn't like there's a Cadillac factory somewhere, like originally there was when it was his own company. But no, they're not reliable. The only thing reliable about them is that they cost too much money, they'll break down too early, and they'll cost too much money to fix when they do break down. Well, here we go again. GM has ordered a stop sale on their mid-engine Corvette, the new mid-engine Corvette, because of brake-by-wire sensor problems. So now they're saying you can't sell new ones yet, can't deliver them because we got to fix this problem. It's not just the Corvettes. Some 2020 Cadillacs, Equinoxes, a bunch of vehicles that have this problem because they're using similar parts. Even a 2021 Buick Encore is included in this recall. Turns out the material used in the electronic brake sensor system may have been made wrong and corrodes, so it interrupts the communication between the computer and the electronic brake system. Increase the force you need to step on your brakes to make it stop. You're going real fast in your Corvette and you step on the brakes and they're not stopping. You got to put them on hard and they don't work right. Not a good thing. They're going to have to replace the electronic brake module assemblies on a whole bunch of cars. They stopped it on the Corvettes, but soon it looks like they're going to make a recall of all these other cars too. And if you remember, they've already recalled the Corvettes for the front hood may just pop open while you're driving down the road. They brought this thing out. Obviously, you know, GM has had a history of problems with electronics. I've been in these Corvettes. They're fun to drive. I'm not arguing that. They're fast. They got all this electronic stuff on them. The electronic stuff's already starting to break. And they're not even been out a year. So, imagine as they age, the problems they're going to have with electronics. That's the one thing I warned about when I made a video on them. I said, hey, this electronic stuff is really cool. Look at this. But one wonders, when will it break? They got these, you know, doors that don't have door latches. They're all electronic stuff. There's no real handle you can grab. Wait till that breaks. You can't get out of the car. You got to roll the window down and climb out or something. All this electronic tomfoolery. Okay, let's look at facts. It's okay if you're driving an expensive Lexus because this stuff rarely breaks. But in a GM vehicle, known for history of electronic failure, maybe not such a smart idea to load up on all this high-tech electronics that are going to break down because they don't build them right in the first place. Or, now, they didn't even make this part. This is a manufacturer. They bought this from somebody else. And obviously, they're squeezing their suppliers to try to make more money, and so they're doing a lousy job and then selling them parts that don't work right. It's not as simple as it seems. They buy parts from all over the world now, and if they're pricing around to get cheaper parts, guess what? You may pay 70 grand for this loaded Corvette, but it's got a lot of cheap parts on it. XL200 says, Scotty, should I trade my 2007 Tundra with 235,000 miles for a Ram diesel? How reliable are the diesels? I would never trade a Toyota for a Dodge product, period. And especially modern Ram products. You'd have to do a bunch of research to see exactly what you were buying with the Ram. Because now, I worked on one the other day, and it was a Ram, but it had a Cummins diesel engine, which was an excellent engine. Unfortunately, the rest of the vehicle's falling apart, so why buy a vehicle that's got a good engine and the rest is garbage? But on a lot of the Ram trucks for a while, they've been using these eco-diesels, they call them. What a misnomer, eco-diesel, right? It's kind of like the up-down party in politics, you know? They're going both ways at once. Eco-diesels are made in Italy by Fiat. Fiat owns Chrysler. They're not very good engines. A lot of them blow up before their time. So if you find out that the Ram you're looking at has an Italian diesel engine, say, no. Maybe get another Toyota or see how long your Toyota will last. You know, it's got 235,000 miles. It's 14 years old. Heck, just keep driving and see what happens. I'd never get a Dodge for it. Anywhere you go, even if it had a Cummins engine, you still got to dodge around it with just crap that breaks. I had a customer the other day brought me one, had 35,000 miles on it, and the air conditioning had gone out already. They're not quality made. Automotive Tech says I got a 2017 Mazda CX-5, 50,000 miles. The check engine light said it was oxygen sensor 2, bank 1. So I bought an O'Reilly one, same connector and everything. I plugged it in, reset it, and it keeps coming back. Help. All right, well, the first thing is, I don't think I'd be buying an O'Reilly sensor myself. On sensors, I always want to buy OEM. Now, you got a Toyota with a Nip and Denso oxygen sensor. I'm not necessarily going to the Toyota dealer, spending $250 for theirs. I will buy the same Nip and Denso sensor at an auto parts store. Now, if a chain doesn't have it, I'm a mechanic. I deal with many different warehouses. I will say, I want this original equipment, Nip and Denso oxygen sensor. They'll get it for me for a lot lower price than what the dealer charges. But you want to stick to OEM. It's very complex electronics. They have to be made exactly the same. Start there if I were you. Get an OEM sensor. Forget the one that you got at O'Reilly's. Now, if that doesn't fix it, you say that, well, it was ripped, one of the wires was torn. If that shorted out, you want to pray that wasn't the problem. Because if it did, it could short out the driver and the computer. Now, it's weak power, so it could short out just the oxygen sensor driver. So your car could run okay, but that one part is gone, then you would have to buy a new computer and have it reprogrammed. So pray an OEM sensor is going to fix it, because if it isn't, odds are you're going to need a new computer. Con says, Scotty, can I use AT205 Reseal to spray all the rubber bushings under my car to make them last? Well, yes, you can. AT205 Reseal is a simple polymer. When you take it out, pour it in a glass out of the bottle, it looks like water. It isn't. It's a polymer. What it does is it rejuvenates rubber. I got customers that put it even on their rubber golf club handles so that they stay supple and they don't rip and tear. I've used them on rubber seals on my windows in my house. Anything rubber, it rejuvenates it so that it doesn't crack. And if it is cracked, it can help it a little bit. I mean, if they're all cracked up, you're going to have to replace it. There's no arguing that. But it does a really good job at rejuvenating rubber and protecting old rubber so that it doesn't crack. Whatever's in those polymers works quite well. And you can, what I do is I just put it in a little spray bottle. I got those little spray bottles that you use for aloe vera spray if you sunburn yourself. When they're empty, I clean them all out and I put some AT205. So then any little nook and cranny, I got that little bitty aloe spray bottle, I can spray them all over the place. It's a good idea to do something like that. Any rubber part, it helps make them last longer. Ed Dukes 392 says, Scotty, I got an 06 Chrysler 300, 8-cylinder with 236,000 miles. Has a bad miss, said misfire in cylinder 2. I changed spark plugs, coil pack, and injector. It's still missing. What should I do? Do a wet and dry compression test on that side of the engine that has the number 2 cylinder. Do all 4. If the number 2 is more than 15, 20% different pressure than all the other ones, that cylinder's just worn out. You're going to have to rebuild the engine or live with it. Now, let's say the pressure seems relatively the same. It could be that your head gasket is starting to go out. How to tell if your head gasket's blown? Get the little kit from Amazon for 30-something bucks. You put the tube in the radiator, put the blue fluid, and you run it. The video shows you the whole thing. But basically, if you're getting carbon dioxide in your radiator, that means the exhaust is getting in your radiator because the head gasket's coming apart inside. And then you'd know that was a problem. I would bank on that myself because I see those things, that's pretty much at the end of their lifespan, 236,000 miles of one of those 300 engines. That's about as long as they're generally going to last. SUV Hybrid says, can you recommend me any SUV which is best? I like the Nissan Pathfinder 2019 Hybrid 2.5. Is the value easy to repair? Will it work in the long run? No, don't buy a Nissan if you want long run anything. If you have to get an SUV hybrid, get a Toyota. Toyota's been making the best hybrids the longest. Honda actually has been making them a little bit longer. They came out before Toyota came out with the Prius. But theirs was pretty much a dismal failure. Here in Houston, there were thousands of them just sitting on lots unsold. Nobody wanted to buy the stupid things. Toyota's the hybrid king. You want to get a hybrid, get a Toyota hybrid. I've seen people get 250 out of them, 250,000 miles with hardly any trouble. That's what you want to get. Do not get a Nissan. Now, it's because they're easy to repair. No hybrid is easy to repair. When they do break, they're extremely complex to repair. But if you get a Toyota and it doesn't break till it gets 200-something thousand miles on it, you be happy. Don't whine about getting that kind of mileage out of a hybrid vehicle. They're very complex, but Toyota makes them really well. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.